This week at Hey the Parents, we're diving into one of the hardest parts of parenting. Something nobody really warns you about. You think you're ready for diapers, tantrums, and sleepless nights? But what about watching your child become more independent? You've got a tween, a teen, or even a kid who's just starting to pull away in little ways. This episode is for you. We're talking about the bittersweet pride and the unexpected grief that comes with letting go, how it sneaks up on you, and what we learn from living through it ourselves. From the first time they walk into school without looking back to the moment they tell you, I've got this. We'll explore how parents grow up right alongside their kids. So grab your coffee, take a breath, and let's get real about why letting go hurts even when it's the right thing. Because in Hey the Parents, it's an honest discussion about raising kids. I'm Michael Height.
I'm Sarah D.
And I'm Mike Levine.
Kids don't come with a handbook, so we need your help.
Where do babies come from?
Where do you think they come from?
Is this a kissing book?
Mama! Mama!
What?
Hi.
I learned it by watching you.
There are no rules in this house. Not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
We sent them to the best boarding schools. We hired the best nannies. We did everything right.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
No drinking, no drugs, no kissing, no tattoos, no piercings, no ritual animal slaughters of any kind.
Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
This is Hey Other Parents, an honest, messy, imperfect show for raising kids.
Hey, welcome back. It's us again. Hello.
Heidi ho.
It's the three of us.
The
It's the three best friends.
Shall I sing our song? It's the three best friends.
He knows that. They're in this. That is wild. It's gone full round tables.
What
It's
a good
gone all the
time.
way into the land of carbon a little bit. I love it. All right.
A little bit, you know?
I like it.
Keep
You
it
know,
fresh.
and it's everyone appreciates it at home. And you know what? They appreciate it so much that sometimes they listen to this episode in their car while they're folding laundry, while they're cooking dinner, getting organized on the go. We know that you have a lot of choice for podcasts out there, and some of us who sing. So thank you for listening to ours. We'd like to send a big welcome to new moms and dads listening on this season 3, episode 2, and a big hearty hello to the returning listeners who are back for this season and put up with us for yet again another episode. So if this is the first time joining us in this podcast, Hey the Parents, it's a chance for a few as parents who decided that we need to join our efforts together to try to get through this thing, as we call it, a survival course. We pick a different theme, a different topic each week, where we discuss it from the standpoint of when we were younger, what we grew up with our own parents, and then we shift that over to now as adults, where we certainly did not get a handbook for our own kids. We talk about what we go through, we share some of our experiences, and we learn from each other. And every week we feel a little bit better because we have each other and we have all of you. So if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, we'll tell you a bit later in the show and how you can get in touch with us here. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into the main part of the podcast, and that entails a topic of the week. Sarah D, this episode, what is it about?
Oh, this episode, we are talking about when our children start growing up, pushing away from us, and how we kind of have to let it happen, kick them out of the nest a little bit. I know. And dealing with the being proud, but also dealing with some of that heartache that goes along with it. So that is our topic for the week.
Did you guys ever see My Big Fat Greek Wedding by any chance?
Yes.
All right. I don't know. And for all those who've seen it, I know the father says, to his daughters, "Oh, don't ever leave me." So as my kids get older, I say it sometimes to my daughters. I'm like, "Don't ever leave me. Stay with me." I try to guilt them, but you can't avoid them growing up.
I can't imagine that our podcast support group is not rolling her eyes from across the room. By the way, side note, Gene, Sarah's husband, nicknamed the spouses the podcast support group. So now you know that when we refer to them, we are actually referring to our spouses, our dear.
Yes.
So this weekend, my son Jacob, he had his bar mitzvah. He turned 13. And Sarah and
Crazy,
Mike and I hung out with all my family and friends and stuff, and it was a lot of fun getting everybody together. Definitely the rowdiest of tables was not the 13-year-olds. It was definitely Mike and Sarah's family. It's hysterical. But we hung out a lot. We had a lot of fun. They were there to support Jacob, and all that stuff was really cool. And during our time together, one of the things we did was we played a montage. And the montage was, you go to parties and stuff, if you go to a wedding, it's all the family, how the couple met, and it's like the love story and yada yada. So when you do one of these bar mitzvah things, typically what you do is you do a video with the kids as babies, and then them kind of growing up over the years, and then family and friends and where they are now. And I think that's probably why, like, when we were going back and forth about which episode we we're gonna do next, it was like, it's got to be this one. It's got to be this one. So like just making the video and just seeing your child's and your own life, sort of like in fast forward of 13 years as you put together this thing was wild. Seeing him as a baby and picking him up, and like now he's like, no, I got it myself, man. See you later. But like,
Right.
But what was so special was for me was was a little validation when he gave his speech to the temple. You know, he talked about like some of the things we do together. You know, when we're stuck in traffic and we're sitting there, and I try to make it fun for him, and we laugh and like have a good time and stuff. And then he made some nice sentiments, and when he grows up, he wants to be like me. And I was totally floored. And I think what was so nice about that was like, he loves me. He really loves me. No, what was so nice about it was just hearing it, you know, and just kind of knowing, because for parents out there who have teenagers or preteens or have already been through it, there's a little bit of like a black hole where you're not really sure how the emotions are going, where like you think things are passing through it, but who am I to say?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
it was
definitely.
very, very nice, and you know, a big smile on his face. But it seemed like the
awesome,
right
man.
thing to do. Number one, to acknowledge the podcast support group, and then number two, to kind of think about kind of like where the episode kind of came from. So this feels like the right kind of time to think about how we're feeling with this perspective of just being needed a little bit less, and kind of standing back from the sidelines and watching our kids kind of grow, and kind of get into where they are. So I guess maybe would be a good idea to maybe start out with how maybe kind of like did it catch you by surprise, or maybe what was the first sign? Get some tissues ready. What was the first sign? Maybe I don't know, Sarah. Maybe do you want to start? What was like maybe the first sign that you sort of like noticed that, you know, maybe you were needed a little bit less, or that your kids were kind of growing up a little bit? Maybe Juju.
Yeah, so for me, it was with recently with Julian, where because I feel like Sophia, we always joke around, she was born like an old lady, so she always been very like independent, like always climbing the highest thing, always like, you know, like always with the friends and things like that. So like when she kind of like separated, it was like one day I just knew that like she like canceled plans on me, and I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, yes, I'll. So I was like, okay, yep. But that didn't hurt as much as like with Julian. No offense to Sophia. It was, you know, like I was like, one day I was like, Julian, let's like snuggle on the couch. Want to watch something? And it was like after school, he's like, Mom, we don't snuggle anymore. And I was like, what? And he's like, and I was like, oh, and he's like,
he just
like,
laid down the law. He was like, no,
yes,
Mom, no.
It was, I was like, well, we're just ripping off this Band-Aid. Okay, cool. And he's like, we hang out on the couch at a respectful distance. And I was like, oh, okay.
What is this, stranger danger? Oh, come on, man.
I know. I was like, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, is this far enough? I'm like, you know, we had like a sectional. So it was like one side, the other side. And he was like, all right. He's like, this is nice. And I was like, this is very nice. Yep.
This is nice.
Sure.
This is different. It's different.
Why are you,
Mommy,
why are you hugging that pillow so hard?
I seriously, I legit was like surrounded by pillows. I was like, okay. Once in a while, we do regress back to some little snuggle, you know, like where we just kind of
you just can't acknowledge it. You can't say it
on each other. Nope, I'm not. You're absolutely right. Because did I ruin the moment? Like we kind of just like happen to lean near each other, but it's no longer that little baby snuggle when they like climb into your lap and like they're like hugging you and stuff like that. I miss it.
You know what? Like I thought you were gonna say, which it didn't turn out that way. I thought Julian was gonna be like, Mom, respectful distance. We don't snuggle. Just kidding. Get over here. But that's not
right. No, he didn't either. Because I really did look at him like, haha, cool. That was funny. I was like, oh
man, ouch, kid.
No wonder I have, you know, I got the dogs. So
I know because I brought Ethan to chorus. Like it was one day where the dog exactly like I will just take this feeling and replace it. It's almost like, you know, drinking, you know, having too much sugar, replace it with some other energy drink or something else, you know, just replace that feeling with something else. So I remember when I think it was one of the days we were off from work and then the kids had school. So I was able to bring Ethan and his friends to chorus. And I have, you know, his buddy Ben in the car. I have Ethan. They have their instruments. And I bring them in and I'm kind of like, do I walk them in the door? Do I don't? And Ethan he was distracted. He just walked with Ben and didn't get a hug by. But this is like the mushiest kid ever. I'm like, where are you going? You know, it was too late. But it was like one of those feelings. I'm like, Ethan without a hug? That's like, that doesn't go together. This is not right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
What about you, Mike?
How was a similar situation with me. And it was recent with middle school, actually. And, you know, we're getting Lucas ready for, you know, we're helping him get ready. We're not getting him ready, but we're helping him get ready. But, you know, we're like worried. Are you okay? And then it's like, okay, you want us to walk like to the, you want me to walk to the bus with you? I said, because like we were leaving at the same time, because I was going to work. He was going to school. He's like, Dad, really? I said, what? I just want to make sure you get on the bus. Okay. You know, you want me to just, you know, sit in the car and like watch you? He's like, no, Dad, I got it. And, you know, and that right there was like, holy moly, like, oh my God, this is the first of the many's, you know, like, I got it, Dad. Yes. Like, I don't need you. You know what? Right now, you know what I mean? Not that he doesn't need me, just like, you know, it was just eye opening. Like, oh man, like, cause ever since prior to 6th grade, we've dropped him off every year, or we've been there. And this was the first time where me and Taylor like stood at the door and just watched him walk away from us, which was like significant in itself in a way, right? Because It's like, we don't walk with you and, you know, hold your hand and drop you off at the school, like you walking from us. So it was really, it was surprising. It was interesting. And it's like, oh my God, we're, you know, he's not going to need us anymore. This is weird.
And then you immediately turn to the next youngest person in the house. So you're not going to change, are you?
Exactly.
And then I go to my daughter. I got to play today. See you later.
Yeah, I was like, you're never leaving me, right?
Oh, it's wild.
She's like, Dad, you're crazy. You know, so
like, right.
But I think like the moment that you really see it, tough. I think a lot of us, I don't know, as parents, like you hear this from other people. I think like Halloween tends to bring this out to full stop, because like it's that moment where like, you know, you sort of like expect
all their friends are around.
You expect the trick-or-treating to happen. You expect you're going to be like, all right, what's our matching costumes? Are we, you know, we need to have all of us to make this costume work. And then the kid's like, awkward. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to this party. You're over here. And you're like, no. But I feel like that was for us a big moment where it wasn't, that version of the story never happened. But the the way that it really was like, you know, initially, I think the year before, Jacob wanted to go trick-or-treating with some friends. And then, you know, it was like, oh, well, we want to kind of go off in this direction. And then the younger brothers want to go in this direction. And it sort of was like turned from like us all going together to checking in. And that was okay. You know, it felt sad, but it was like, look, the reality is like, we're just trying to raise like independently stronger kids, you know? So I guess in a way it's good. It doesn't mean it hurts any less, but it was definitely one of those things where it was like, oh, all right, so this is on right now. This is happening.
Which is funny too, right? Because we look for that. We want them to be like, Dad, I got this. Mom, I got this. But then when they do it to us, it's like, oh no, don't, you need me. You know, like it hurts a little bit, you know?
Like you got what you actually wanted and you're like, ugh.
Yes. So I was just, as you guys were thinking about, I'm thinking to myself, like, in some ways, when they're little and they're babies and like they're teething, and it's their first teeth and their first steps and their first walks, like it feels, and you're like, oh, you know, like they're not a newborn, they're not 6 months. Like you still mourn, but there's something about when they're actually like older, you know, like when they're like really like, but like 5 or 6 or 7, like it's all suddenly like, you're like, oh my God, I just need a break. Because I know we all probably been there. Like I need a break. Like, does he always need me to hold his hand? Does he always need me to be there when they brush their teeth or something like that? And then it's all of a sudden that one day when they say, I got it. And you're like, whoa, wait, you know?
Like, did I do it enough? Or did did I bypass, or did I like skip over the times I shouldn't have said no?
Yes, or like when you were like the preferred parent for trick-or-treating or like going out to like the mall and things like that, and all of a sudden they're like, no, I want to go with my friends, and you're like, totally, that's great. I so want you to be a productive, independent person, but I was totally ready for Starbucks, the mall, and like something, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just drive you guys to all those things.
I know. I'm
And
like, it's 9:20. I think I could probably wake Noah up and get him out of bed and get to the mall for 10 minutes. Can I do it right now? It's like,
right, you should just, take it, like, just be like, let's go GameStop real quick.
oh, but you're right. You're right. It's wild because, like, look, I mean, we talked about this before, like on the podcast. Like, I feel like sometimes we talk about things that people just don't really talk about, or like you aren't comfortable in talking about, like, with each other. But like, look, I mean, all of us, right? Men, women, we're all feeling this way. You know, you don't need to be all tough. Like it kind of sucks, you know, but it's maybe it sucks in a good way. You know, maybe even though it is painful, like it is sort of kind of cool from the sidelines to watch your kid be happy and not cling on to you because they are going with their friends and they are socially kind of making it work out, you know?
Yes, because like, they're getting older and like they have like their hormones and, you know, like, and when you think about it, it's like we're trying to teach them how to be, you know, like just
like self-sufficient,
just grown, like be grown,
like
right?
just grow, right? To be grown, like, you know, like how to be a model citizen, how to like be kind to someone, how to treat the opposite sex, you know, how to treat friends, like, you know. So you're instilling all this stuff, and then when they actually start putting it into practice, you're like, whoa, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah. It's like I try to create like a level playing field for everybody. Like nobody's better than anybody, but it's like, you know, as children, you know, I guess maybe through seeing arguments as they grow up or whatever, they may think like, oh, maybe dad, you know, is more aggressive, or maybe mom is more aggressive, or so on and so forth, right? But like with Lucas, you know, or even my daughter now too, because she's been giving it a little bit too, but there's a lot more challenging going on, you know, and it's hard because sometimes I gotta tell him, hey, like, that's your mom. You can't talk to her that way, like, you know, or, you know, you got to be more respectful, or, you know, and he doesn't mean to be disrespectful, you know, in any way. It's just his anger would get the best of him. And I try to kind of show him how to navigate those feelings, you know? Yeah,
but the thing is, like, whether he intended to or not, he did. And you're showing him boundaries. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Even if he's like upset and he didn't intend to do it, like it's out there, you know, he left his mouth, you know, so it's so good to understand.
And you know what? And he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. What, like, all the kids are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be challenging. They're supposed to test in the boundaries. They're supposed to, you know, obviously they're human. They're going to have a slip up. They're going to be a little fresh to someone. But it's us to help guide them, you know, to respect the boundaries and be respectful, but and express themselves in a, you know, productive way. But like I always tell them, like G and I sometimes, like when Sophia is like on a tirade, or Julian now, like, you know, we see more like him kind of challenging things. You know, like, oh, like there goes our sweet little baby that used to say, yes, mommy, or no problem. Or they were like so eager to like help. And now, you know, I tell them, I'm like, well, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. That's their job right now, is to be a teenager, and they're doing it. So, you know, like try to spin it like it's positive, but man, I miss them being so little and like so sweet, you know, but at the same time, you know, growing up for me, I wasn't really allowed to have like those outbursts or to be fresh or anything like that. So, so it's good. It's good to see them do the things that I saw my friends did and I wasn't able to do. So it's definitely, I feel like that's like on the winning of like parentinghood side.
I think it is, you know? Because like you're like, I mean, this is just my perspective, so what do I know? But I feel like I was in a similar environment where like that was not tolerated. And I'm not saying like I really like tolerate it, but like sort of like letting it all out and giving them like letting them a chance to like get it out and then sort of like deal with the consequences afterwards. I don't know. Like instead of cutting, like I just bringing an awareness to it. But like you know, in our house, like you let something like that out. There's no free passes. You're apologizing. You know, like that's that's not okay. But it's wild.
But to speak to that, Mike, like you know, I kind of I get frustrated too. Like we all get frustrated, you know, and our kids see a lot of different emotions and reactions outside of our home, you know. So then though they may pick up those kind of you know, reactions, and they may bring it home and even use it toward, you know, their loved ones. And it may not be something that you agree with, or that you think is not, or you don't think they should handle it that way. Now, am I making sense
Like
here?
you're almost saying like they try on like a persona of another type of
you know, so, and I'll give you, for example, like I've seen, you know, my son or my daughters, like the way that they yell at each other, you know, and I always tell them, I'm like, hey, do you ever see me talk to your mother that way? No, like I never speak to your mother the way you just spoke to your sister, or vice versa. You know what I mean? But I know they've seen other friends yell at each other and things like that. So, you know, those kind of habits or those things that they pick up, you know, it gets frustrating because that's not what you are instilling in them. But yet they may use it to express their emotion, and you just got to show them how to like kind of navigate it the way you would. That's all. And, you know, I want to say my way's the right way, you know, but, really? You know, it may not be the right way, but that's, you know, that's my home. Like, this is what I teach you. You shouldn't be talking to your sister or your mother that way. Like, knock that out, you know?
Yeah, but with like growing up, you know, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was thinking like that, like, you know, like, yes, like, you know, with the conflict that happens with our kids, you know, listen, a child having a temper tantrum to, you know, and you're like, oh, I wish they were newborn again, to a teenager slamming the door and you're like, I wish they were 5 years old again. You know, there's still like this loss as they're like becoming more independent, like, you know, and like, and yes, they're doing all that like fresh teenager stuff, but then they're also doing like more like sleeping in and like needing you less. And like, yes, like I'm so proud that they can make their own cereal and they can make their own breakfast. But like, I have to say, like last year, I didn't realize, or last summer, not the summer that's passed. So we're 25. So summer 24. I didn't realize that, you know, in the summer of like 2024, that like I was a bit of a funk. The kids were home. I was home, and they needed me less. So I slept in a little more. I totally got out of a routine. We didn't go to the beach as much. Like a lot of the stuff that I looked forward to doing with the kids during our summers together, they didn't really want to do as much because Sophia wanted to do this, Julian wanted to do that. And I really struggled a little bit, to be honest with you, trying to find my place as a mom with kids who were needing her less. You know, I was used to, like, they needed the taxi driver.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, besides you driving them everywhere, yeah.
But they needed me less. Like, you know, like I was like, oh, does anyone want breakfast? No, or someone's still sleeping, and now breakfast turned to lunch, and it was like, okay, so I was like eating breakfast by myself, like, so. I have to say, like, that was like something that was like a little hard for me. Like, you know, did you guys like ever feel like that? Like where you felt like a little like...
Yeah, totally. I mean, especially with, you know, being like I worked many jobs. Taylor was a stay-at-home mom, right? So like I personally, you know, on the opposite end would get jealous of Taylor, that she would have all that time to do things and to be with them, you know, but yet I knew because Taylor, you know, you guys, I don't know if you've heard prior stories or not, but and the podcast, but you know, my wife Taylor, she suffered like a major injury to her back, and then she went through a whole thing. So she's been trying, you know, her and I have worked together to try to help her, you know, get through all of that. And you know, while she was doing that, I was working a lot, and I wanted that time with the kids, like to do things, to go to the beach, to go to the pool. And it was difficult because like I had to be patient, and I had to come to an understanding myself, saying, you know, this is for the good of my family. You know, this is what I'm, you know, I'm helping my wife, I'm helping my children. And what also gave me, power to kind of get through that situation was I was able to provide that for my wife and for my kids, so that they could be with their mother in the summers. But at the same time, there was part of me that was jealous, which is that weird? Like, like
Right,
I wish I could have, had summers off to play and to do things like that, but at the same time, I was happy. I don't know. It's kind of confusing, I guess, maybe you have to be in the situation, but like I felt both ends of it. You know what I mean?
You're like FOMO on both ends.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough to deal with, but I'm so happy, now, especially, she's gotten through a lot of major things and she's progressed forward very well. And, we're thriving. Which is
amazing.
And yes. And I'm just happy that, I was able to help her through that,
Yeah, it's a sacrifice that you had to do for your family, and I think that's something that's also like unspoken sometimes with being a parent, is that, like, we make these sacrifices and sometimes we're missing out on things as well, and we're missing those milestones sometimes. Or we didn't realize, and that's like the thing, like I think I see like on like social media sometimes, like you didn't realize that was the last time he was going to call you mama or something like that,
Yeah.
So,
like those,
and she gets into a little funk now too, because now that she's working and stuff, like she misses doing those things, like you said, like, or going to the beach, doing all those things because she's working now, she's doing better, whatever. But it's tough. It's tough, as the kids get older and we have to kind of let go a little bit, right?
But like on the flip side, like definitely agree. I think we all like feel it. And then like there's also like the other side, right? Like there's like also like this side of it that is kind of cool, when you let it be cool for yourself, I guess, right? Like there's this whole idea where you could get like you could like celebrate all the growth that they have without like getting stuck in your loss of their little baby faces. Like we start the year where we like moments surprise us, like we started the year where my wife got these shirts that she ordered locally, and it's like it's like just like little boxes in the back of the shirt. They have like K 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 12. I left out a few numbers in there, but you get the idea. It goes from K to 12. And what you do with the kids is you take some like acrylic paint or whatever, and then you put on their hands, and then they stamp their hands on the shirt. So, like as they get older, their hands are getting bigger and stuff. And I think like initially, I know like my wife was like looking at the boxes, like, as like almost like a countdown to their like growing up and leaving. But like, it's like, and I get it, I'm not going to correct her. Like that's how she's feeling, but like, I don't, like it hits me in a different way. And like, when I see that, I'm like, oh, wow, maybe she's right. But I think it's like really cool. And like, to watch like them doing that. And then we also, I mean, Jacob's hands can't get any bigger, but we do that, and then they all get excited. They all have their moments to put the paint on, and then my wife, because we got to get a couple of tears in her eyes. We have the kissing handbooks, the kissing handbook, and we always read that. She makes the cookies with them, and they decorate their cookies, and they bring that for their snack on the first day, and like. What was
adorable.
Awesome was like we were sort of like, is Jacob gonna hang? Is he gonna do whatever? He totally hung out. I'm like, listen, guys, I don't care. We're reading the whole story together. Everybody gather around. Papa has to read a story, so we got around.
Papa.
And, we all hung out. I don't really call myself that. It's all sarcastic, but we all hang out, and we read the story, and Jacob hung out, and Ethan and Noah, and we all sat together, and we had our cookies, and it was awesome because like yes, he laughed and he was like, this is goofy, but. At the same regard, you saw like the his little brother's smile light up, and it was like, all right, he came back to us. This is good, But like, you can't acknowledge it. You just kind of have to let it happen, But there are moments where like it does sort of like it is a cooler, different version of things, and you step back and you're like, oh, all right, this is kind of neat actually.
Yeah, no, you definitely do. Like, I think that's really sweet, and that's wonderful that your family started that tradition.
Sprinkles and sugar helps.
I think it definitely is. Like, I definitely think like it's so important to like celebrate, like not to get in such a funk. Like, just like a side note, like moms, dads, like I think it's so important. That's what I had to learn. I think last summer was that you need to fill your cup. You need to like do things for yourself. Because they are going to get bigger, they are going to get older, they're going to eventually go to college or to trade school or something, move out. So you definitely need to, like, if that's my one advice to anyone, definitely make sure that you're taking care of yourself because it can be hard. But also too, it is so nice to see them grow and to celebrate them and to tell them like, you know, I'm proud of them. Like, you know, like there are times that Sophia says something, you know, like, and she could be very much a teenager. See, selfish, thinking about herself, wanting things, you know, next Uber, next event. And then she'll like say something that's like so insightful, or she does something that's like so like caring or loving to a friend or to her brother, you know, because that's rare nowadays as well. And I'm like, yes, there's the kid that I want to raise. Like that's the person that you're becoming. Yes. And to acknowledge those moments, you know?
You gotta like crack off that candy shell and find it underneath somewhere, you know?
Yes.
Sarah, I love that advice because, you know, Taylor and I had this conversation. As I said before, now she's working. So she's been in a different kind of a funk, like of not being with her kids as much, right? And not doing the, you know, the things she used to. So, you know, I told her she needs to like be part of a community, right, for herself. Like I told her she's got her work community where she logs on, talks to all her people at work and whatever. You know, she's got her family community where, you know, it's us and the kids and whatever, but she needs something, I feel, for herself. You know what I mean? Like her, you know, what does that look like? Is it going to the gym? Is it, you know, and having your gym community? Is it reading a book and having a book club, or, you know, something that she does for herself with her friends, you know? And I think she's like, because like you said, the kids don't need her as much anymore. And I don't want her to like get into a depression of some sort, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, take this to heart. But I mean, I guess it's the nature of the beast. As our kids get older, they need us less. And, you know, you need to pick something up for yourself so that, you know, you're taking care of your health and yourself.
No, absolutely. I think there is such a pull for parents to like, we know that we're working. We want to be there for every moment. We want to like not miss something. But at the same time, like, you know, like I felt like I was like waiting around last year for them to need me. And not that I wasted time, but there are things that maybe I could have done to fill up my time for myself, you know? That was definitely eye-opening, you know, and I think this year I've been working more on making sure, yes, like I have like my own activities and making play dates, I call them, for myself, like, you know, like to hang out, like, you know, to go out and like, you know, to actually like, I don't know, like hang out with my girlfriends and stuff like that, you know, because for a while we were all in the trenches of motherhood, you know, and now it's like, all right, like they're good, like they're fine, like, you know, Julian's fine.
And I think a part of her sometimes feels guilty. Like, what if she's not there and she's doing something for herself? You know what I mean? Correct. So I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Keep doing that thing for yourself.
Like mom guilt is, I don't want to stereotype, but it just feels like for some people, right? Maybe it is for moms. I don't know. It feels like mom guilt is like, it's a thing.
Yeah. It's strong.
And I think it's like this. I could be wrong, and I probably am, but at least in my experience, I feel like my wife feels like she feels it a lot. Like she feels it's a deep guilt that is, you know, something maybe we process it differently. I hate to say that because maybe I'm just totally stereotyping and genderizing everything, but I feel like there's definitely a difference in some ways, and you know, maybe if we don't have to just tap into like the raw emotions of like what defines us of man and woman, but like there's something about it that like you know. I think everything Sarah's saying is so true though about like, you know, finding hobbies and things, but it's hard. Like I kind of have to let her sort of work it out herself in some ways. I can't be the one to swoop in and save it for her, but I feel like something that you said, Sarah, that you know, and Mike was talking about it. It made me think of this. It sounds like it's unrelated, but I think it kind of is in a way. Is that like, you know, when someone is unemployed or when you're looking for a new job, it's a lot easier to look for a new job when you already have one. If you don't have if you don't have a job, you're unemployed, you're looking for a job, it's way different. It's a way different circumstance. And I feel like it maybe the same kind of feeling is true in the regard of like trying to find a hobby when you're not needed is very different than like sort of like
God, Master Yoda.
hobbies you would find. But
yes, I mean, like there were times that Jean would be like saying like literally the same things that Levine's saying right now to Taylor, like find a community, be part of something, do it. And I'm like, what? Like find a hobby. And I'm like, where do I start? Like, right. I'm like, hobbies. What's a hobby? My children are my hobby, and my dogs are my hobby. Like, but those aren't hobbies. Like, I mean, those are fulfilling, but like, what does Sarah want? And like, I think that was like my existential crisis I was like having last summer and like all of last year in some ways, on top of dealing with Julian's health issues. But like, I was definitely like, who is Sarah at the end of the day? Like I could talk about Sarah in the past. She was a fun time, but like, what is Sarah now? Like that's the thing. Like, and sometimes Jean would like say it and I'll get my hackles up. I could feel myself getting like upset. Like, well, it's not so easy, like fantasy football isn't like my thing. Like, so it's different. But then like also to kind of talk to like Mike, what you were saying is that like, I don't think you're necessarily like stereotyping like mom guilt versus like dads, but I think like Levine was saying, like, I know Jean has expressed that there are times that he's felt bad for having missed some things, like milestones, and because he was providing. And I think that weighs differently for the provider in the family. Like you're like, but like you're doing something, like for the family at least.
Like
I think
you could
it's like
you could name it. It could be named that you've done this. Like you could say it. Like Yes,
so and not negating anyone's feelings to those things. It's certainly, like Levine was saying, like he missed out, he felt guilty, and Jean too. Like, but I think like also too is like at the same time it's like if your spouse is there, then it's like feels like less, like like less like terrible, because then you're like okay, like she's there or he's there and they're kind of taking care of stuff. So
and you're right to speak to that. Like the fact that Taylor, my wife, was there for my kids, not like a nanny or a daycare or something. You know what I mean? It's totally different because you're gonna treat your kids to the utmost 100%. Like give them everything you love. You don't have to worry about anybody else. So it brought a lot of comfort to me knowing that my children were well taken care of by my wife.
Yeah, but it's like I'm listening to you both talking and I'm thinking it from my perspective too, and I could see it almost like because sometimes it's hard to like put yourself in your spouse's shoes, like, and just actually like think about what that might feel like from their perspective. But like it's got to feel like from Sarah, like, it's got to feel like an identity crisis. Like, who the hell am I? like essentially, right? I mean, you have these things that it's weird, and I kind of have been through like little bits and pieces of that, like sometime really working in the summer, but then I'm with the kids and like doing stuff, and like when you have 2 hours to yourself, and you're like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And I'm sure this definitely there's things I could be doing. I get it. No, I mean like if you have time, that's not like go take care of the house and do something, whatever. But like, what are the things when you are left alone with your own thoughts and you're by yourself and you have free time? What is it? Not what people tell you to do, but what ultimately is going to make you feel good and feel happy as your kids are off doing their own thing. And that is really hard to tap into. And sometimes like you got to go like Thomas Edison. You got to figure out like 100 ways not to make a light bulb before you figure it out. And it's like, you try out, you're like, am I a pickleballer? I don't know. What's, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I first have to take the rackets out of the packaging, but no, but I like, have to figuring out what that thing is for you. And, and tapping into the things that you enjoy. Like, thank God I've been lucky enough to like do this podcasting thing with you guys. And like, we got into the D&D thing with Bridget and Orlip and all those other people and like other things. But like, I think like one thing that maybe as an adult is like, as a kid, you can make best friends in like 3 seconds. You're like, oh, you're at a playground. Like, oh, you're my best friend, buddy. But like as an adult, like I think like you're so hesitant and like you think there has to be so much meaning in like this path that just like letting things that connect to other things just be and just kind of like try things out is sort of okay, and as a little backup plan, you could always hide in your couch afterwards, like if it didn't go well, you're like, I don't need to do that again. But like, maybe you randomly go with some friends bowling, or you go do some group at a library and you try it out, or you throw yourself at things and then you find something that sticks. And, maybe you're fortunate enough to try stuff out and you bring it home and then, you show your family, and then just maybe the child that stepped away maybe is like, that's pretty cool. What's that about? You're like, we can talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good because you become like a more of a whole person for them, and not just like mom who cooks, cleans, and does baking and does everything I want.
Robot.
Like at least it's like right. Like at least it's like mom that goes out and she comes back. She's got a funny story now. She's went to painting night and now she has like a little art thingy. Bob again, like
you know what's crazy as I'm listening to us talk on this episode and kind of just going with it is just and how children change your life and like realizing how they change your life. And I mean, like, come on, anybody knows children change your life, but after like going through it for a while and like and kind of digging deeper, like it changes you. Having a child, like you can go through depression, you can lose your identity, you can have marital problems, you could have all these different
it's like
things.
You're selling timeshare. Like if you have children now, you can have all these things.
I know I'm making having children sound really
here's the
bad.
helicopter ride of all the things that you may possibly lose.
I guess the only thing you could sell it worse would be if you're a praying mantis dad, you could have your head bitten off. But no, I think no, but you're right.
What I'm just trying to say is that children, yes, change your life, and it could be a heck of a ride. But I'm grateful for the partner that has done it with me, because that journey.
Oh, thanks, us.
That journey of having kids and going through that together. It's something special to share with another person, and kind of. and now I love how I'm trying to be sensitive, and my friend Mike is ruining it, but it's fine.
Oh, sorry.
No, but and it's also great to have friends like you guys to kind of to just kind of throw it out there and just kind of navigate those issues as well too. So that's why I said you need 3 communities. You need your friends, your family, and something for yourself,
Yes,
and your work.
I like that. No, you're true. So. It's so true. Like, it really is. Like, if you're going to do this parenting thing, you definitely need community of some sort, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and again, like, like you're thinking about like as they grow and things of that nature, and you think about like, oh, like, like now, like I take the opportunity for Julia now, who knows how to cook, to make some dinner for me. Like, yes, that's awesome. You make lemons into French toast or something like that. And thanks, Juju.
I like it. But you're creating these new traditions, which is kind of neat as they get older. And I think that's really cool that you're doing that, Sarah, because like this is something that like you shifted. I think at least like, you obviously, you could rock a kitchen. I know this to be true, but like, there's something like where you've shifted into this idea of like being the lead person of the kitchen into being like, all right, man, spread your wings as long as you don't burn the kitchen down. Like, do your thing. Let's see what you got. And your son is like so taken to it, and he loves it.
He loves it.
I think it's so cool.
And like with like Sophia, like, like we try to like do like different stuff. Like, like we see like different like shows on TV we'll talk about. Like she's really like, again, like I think I mentioned before, like into political stuff. So we'll talk about that. So, like, it's just like, again, like, like I'm no longer watching Wubsy with her, or like Yo Gabba Gabba, but now we're watching or like sending TikToks about like different stuff, and like we're having like these like really cool conversations, Yeah. So it's like, again, it's like celebrating the big stuff and like acknowledging like all the changes and growth that's happening, and also too like realizing you're growing with them as well,
I like that.
Yeah. I like that too, and I do want to just throw out there one of my favorite quotes from Star Wars, and Anakin Skywalker
Jay Guadi
says it.
No,
no, he says the best way I can, and he's teaching like one of his Padawans, his Jedi Padawans, her name's Ahsoka, and he says, the best way I can protect you is to teach you how to protect yourself. And, I take that and I use that with my own children. And it's, at this, in the Star Wars universe, they were fighting a war, and we're not fighting a war here, but it's just like, you have to go into parenting, I think, like, knowing that you're teaching your kid to protect themselves in many aspects, how to navigate like finances, how to grow up, how to deal with friends and all these situations, right? So that they could eventually do it on their own, right? So when they're leaving us, it's hard, it's a hard realization, but if you remember like what you're doing, you can kind of get through it a little bit,
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted
Does
to
that
say,
make
if you
sense?
remember your training, I'm sorry. I had to. I apologize.
Remember your training.
It's like that phrase, you feed a man to no, try again.
Buy a
it's
man,
like that
buy a man a
phrase.
fish sandwich and
Right. It's like
teach a man to fish.
it's like teach someone to fish, and then they will eat
Forever,
really
or
good,
something like that,
good
right?
food. Yes. And you buy him a McFish sandwich.
And he'll say, this value meal ain't so bad.
Right. He'll eat for one day, but if you teach him how to make the
Fish
McFish
sandwich.
sandwich,
I think we've learned a lot today from each other.
you will eat fillet of fish for life.
I will say though that there are, we're not really through it all the way. We're starting there are different age groups, but I will say like things have changed a little bit, and I kind of like what Sarah was saying, and there's little things that we do together too. Like Jacob, well, let me say that where the power shift has changed in a good way is that like as a parent, sometimes like you choose what goes on TV, or like you're putting some stuff on, and now like each night where Jacob stays up a little bit, he'll put on something he's into, and like we've kind of started to get into it together. So like
that's
he
cool.
puts on like Two Step Violin, which is this channel that I love. These guys are great. Two Step Violin. Oh, I feel like I could just promote my thing. But it's not my Parenting Unplugged, because it's still Parenting Plugged. But it's this thing that he put on that's really cool. It's because he's really into music and cello and stuff. And he's started tinkering around the violin. And he's just two guys who are just like really great at music, and they kind of make fun of different music videos and whatever else. So it's very funny. So, first it was, these two guys that do these Italian videos, Lions Field, and now he's into this, and now we're watching this. But like he picks, and we hang out, and they're really funny. And he'll send me little jiffies or whatever during the day, or when he's home. And I'm like, this is fun. This is like something we're sharing. And like, instead of me like being like, no, it's my turn to choose. Like I sit there, I'm like, what do we show? Which one tonight? And I think it's cool. Like he controls it. He's got the remote. He's doing it. And you know what? Why have a power struggle when you could have something you could both enjoy together?
Yeah,
exactly.
No, that's great, man. That's great.
So it has been absolutely wild talking about this topic with you guys. We sort of didn't really know how we were going to feel, but it turns out that we're all a bunch of softies and we want to cry into our children's stuffed animals. So the question this week is what gave you the most anxiety of your child needing you less, and how have you sort of worked through it? So we'd love to hear from you if you'd like to answer these questions, have comments, questions for the show. You can get in touch with us in one of three ways. You can leave us a voicemail on our voicemail line. You can send us an email, or you can check out the socials. All of that information is in the show notes. So we are back for this part of the show. It is called Parenting Unplugged, Time to Unplug. This is where we talk about the things that are going on outside of our children, because sometimes you just have to have a little something for ourselves or their spouses. It gives us a chance to decompress, because you'll be a better we if you take care of me. Cricket, which is me. All right, Sarah D, start us out.
All right. So I've been watching what everyone's been watching probably on Netflix is Unknown Number, the high school catfish. If you have not seen it or haven't watched enough TikTok videos to piece together the whole entire story,
The
Cliff Notes, it is it the best documentary put out? No, there are some like gaps and holes, but it is a fascinating story about this mom who catfished her own daughter.
Crazy.
She did face
what?
felony stalking. She was arrested and things of that nature. but it is unbelievable that there's just some people out there. I don't know, just like their child's biggest hater, I guess. I don't know.
It's like the opposite of the episode that we're doing today.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like the book of like what not to do.
Wow.
So
Holy moly.
Wow.
And this is on I don't want to spoil it because it sounds really interesting. I know Mike's about to watch it like as soon as we hang up. What is it on Netflix?
on the Netflix, yep.
The Netflix. Awesome. All right.
The Netflix.
All right. I think you already got both of us invested and wanted to check this one out. Mike, sounds good, right?
Yeah, I will be watching that. Taylor, that's like Taylor's jam.
That's Taylor's jam right there. Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor is just like afraid of nothing. Yeah, exactly. You're like the stuff you tell me she watches. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. Back to you, Mike. What do you got?
All right. Today for Parenting Unplugged, I have football, fantasy football. That's right. I want to tell you about my awesome fantasy football league that I won a trophy in. That's right. I won a trophy. Well, for last season. And, I play with these a couple of these buddies.
I won a trophy recently. 2024.
I play with a couple of my buddies from different states that I've met over like games and stuff. And we've all joined a fantasy football league, and every football season we play, and whoever wins, we send the trophy to the winner. So I won last year, so I had the trophy, and I get to kind of post all these pictures and kind of rub it in their face until let's see what happens this season. I may lose, I
love it.
I may win. We'll see, but it'll be pretty cool, and I will show you my pictures, guys. We'll post it on social media.
Are you how's your season starting out so far?
So far, so good. I had my first victory the other day.
Well done.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Actually, Gene, Sarah's husband, was like questioning some of my picks. So I sent and one of my picks did really well. So I sent them a little picture, and I said, "Oh, this is why I picked the guy."
No way! Oh, that's amazing.
Yes,
I love it. I love it. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. So it was pretty cool, and back to what I was saying about like being part of a community. Being part of that like friends community. It's fun. It's enjoyable. So it gets you out of your headspace of being a parent.
I got it. So you want Taylor to join your football league?
Nope. She can join her league.
Taylor, I know you don't want to join his football league.
Can we cut that out later, Mike? Yeah. Can we cut that out? Oh yeah, I want you to join, babe. Sure.
Of course, love. Of course.
Oh man. What about you, Mike?
So,
what do you got going on?
I got something over the summer, and I've been tinkering around with it a little bit. I'm not good at it, I'll tell you that. But I wanted to get into 3D printing a little bit because
yes,
it's cool, man. Mike's talking about it. There's like so many things. So my kids play D&D, and Ethan plays D&D. So do I with him. Sometimes with our other podcasts on my own. And I thought it'd be really cool to be like make stuff, and 3D printing is something that I'm sure that if you are like me, I'm a little like, I'm into like graphics and design and stuff like that, but not for flat stuff, not for like 3D objects. So when it comes to that stuff, I'm a little clueless. So for what I was researching, we're not sponsored. This company, Bamboo Labs, makes a series of printers that really seem to take a lot of the guesswork out. Like they have like an app that works on your phone. It works on a computer, and it's very much like it could pull from all these different places of people that already made designs. And what's really cool is this printer in particular has the ability to print in 4 colors if you get like a little add-on thing. And these little add-on things you can put 4 different color filaments in it. So there's resin printers, there's filament printers. This is a filament printer, so it doesn't print as like high detailed as a resin printer does. But resin could be a little yucky. It needs curing and everything else, and it involves chemicals and stuff, and like that you have to paint afterwards. I don't really have the patience for that. So for this, you just put the color in and it comes out. So you could get designs or start to learn how to make designs, which is my next thing. But you could put when you start out, if you buy this thing, you could have 4 colors going into it, and you could even expand it by multiple of these AMS things, and you can actually have up to 16 colors, which nobody needs, but whatever. It's really cool. So I made.
I just want to say I saw you make that boat that you showed me.
Boat.
That Yeah, really cool, my
The
friend.
next thing we made were little keychains, little panda bears.
Do the 4 like colors mix to make other colors,
They
or just
don't.
like?
So like
No.
each
Oh,
of those
okay.
colors that you're going to use are like, so it's totally opaque, right? So the colors that you put in there are the colors that are prevalent in the design. So there was one print that I wanted to try it out because like the kids were into like Minecraft. Suddenly Parenting Unplugged just got plugged back in. And it is, so like I saw there was like, my wife loves panda bears. So I made like this articulating panda bear, Minecraft panda guy. He's a keychain. And what was crazy is, so you put in a black, you put in gray, and you put in white, and then it prints the whole thing, and the legs and the head move, but you didn't assemble it. The whole thing was printed and it moves still, which is crazy. The legs move and the head spins around. It's crazy. So that level of design is probably like somebody who really knows what they're doing. But like, I want to use it to like tinker around and make little adjustments and, make my desk better and stronger and more awesome, kind of like RoboCop. But that's the goal is to do that kind of stuff. But the next project I'm making is going to be, we're going way down the geek rabbit hole right now. I am going to make for my guitar, I'm making a pick holder using the Portal Companion Cube. So for those of you out there, listener, that knows what I'm talking about, rock on. The cake is not a lie, but everyone else is like, we need to talk. This guy needs another hobby. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it. It's really cool. I have the Bamboo PS1, which is the mid-range one that still does 4-color. That's not like, spending a good $1 jillion. It's expensive, but not like crazy. And then, the filament's real expensive, but, they last a while. So I'm excited to learn from Mike Levine and make some more prints and, get away from making random teddy bear or panda bears to making more useful things. But that is the ultimate goal. So,
I love it, man.
Pretty cool. Saturday we'll make some fat unicorns. Have fun.
Yes,
that's the goal.
Finally,
yes, they are mine from our desks. So I think we're just about out of time. It's been so much fun hanging out with Mike and Sarah for this episode on Mourning the little babies as they shift into young adults and more adolescents, and then whatever comes after that, adults, I don't know. We're going to take a moment to thank our listeners, our supporters, for donating to the show. If you want to help support this show so we keep making episodes like this one, we have a link to donate in the show notes. If you don't have the means to do so, we really appreciate it when you tell your friends and your family about the podcast so we can reach more listeners. We can learn from them, they can learn from us, and we keep growing in our community. If you get a chance, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and send in those emails, send in those voicemails, send them in because we love when we hear from you. We can't wait to explore this parenting thing again with you next week on Hey the Parents, because every week it's an honest discussion about raising kids. Don't forget to hug your kids and charge those Chromebooks. That's going to do it for me, for Sarah, and for Mike, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey the Parents is produced by Mike Levine, Sarah Desirines, and me, Michael Haidt. I edit and mix our shows. Our intro voice recording was done by the one and only Coltrane. If you like this show, we hope that you consider going to our show notes and support the podcast. Check the show notes for social media information and contacts, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.